Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and happy Canada Day, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I can see that I'm already having trouble with the lag. I was frozen in a most inopportune, screenshot. So I'm gonna try one thing real quick, and then hopefully we'll get everything. Welcome everyone to Canucks Live on Tuesday night, July the 1st. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Hang tight with me, you guys. I'm just trying a couple things. I'm not very happy with the lag already, and we just started. So bear with me. I'm trying one more thing, and then we will get into it. Thanks for being here. I hope you guys had a really, really good Canada Day celebration. And I hope that you were safe no matter what you did. We obviously have a lot to talk about with the Vancouver Canucks, with what they accomplished. Basically, not getting anyone new, but in essence, still filling out the roster to within $500,000 of their salary cap. So we'll get into all of that tonight. And once again, hopefully the lagging issues are behind us, and they were only at the start of the show. But we'll see. We'll do our best. I see StreamYard is working very hard in the background. I'm not sure what's wrong. I may have to switch computers for my next stream. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thanks for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, in the lower mainland, in the province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be watching anyone else, doing anything else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, know how much I always appreciate you and how I never, ever take you for granted. So this is how you can get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel so you get notified of my videos and active in the chat section. You can like the video, like the fact that we are together tonight, like the fact that it's Canada Day and we live in a beautiful country with freedom, like the fact that Brock Boeser is coming back, Thatcher Demko is coming back, Conor Garland is coming back, like the fact that, we continue to build a great community here, and like the fact that there's a lot of optimism around this team, despite them not doing much today. And I'll explain why, and maybe you agree. Maybe you don't agree, but I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. Leave a donation, like already Line Change and Swerve and Irvin have been doing. I'll talk about that in a second. Thanks, guys. You can gift memberships, buy your own memberships, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Okay, before we get going, I got to highlight a bunch of donations, because even before I got here, the Line Change and Swerve and Irvin were leaving a bunch of donations, dropping a bunch of donations all throughout the day. And I think it has to do with helping them boost their experience points. Because right now, we are 5 minutes in the stream, and Swerve and Irvin has 1,250 experience points, followed closely by the Line Change at 1,100. So they have over 1,000 experience points, followed by Gerald, Fangirl, and Alfred. So I actually can't show you the comments right now because they happened earlier, so I can't even highlight them. But I can tell you this. I can tell you that both the Line Change left a donation at 3:30 p.m. for $5. Then he left another donation at 4:41 p.m. for $5. Then Swerve and Irvin did 4:49 for $5, 4:50 for $5, then 4:52 for $2, 4:53 for $3, and then the Line Change comes in with two back-to-back $2 donations at 5:42 and 9:19 respectively. So before I even started the stream, we had $32 in donations, all thanks to the Line Change and Swerve and Irvin. I can't highlight them because they don't show up in my feed, at least the feed that I can share, but I can just read them to you. So I think donations help with experience points too, but I'll let Swerve and Irvin. Yeah, So actually, let me get to it in a second. Let me acknowledge you guys first. So first, let's thank the line change because he was start. So we always start off with the tortilla salad.
Hard.
So that one was for Tyler, and this one is for Irvin. So thank you to both Tyler and Swervin Irvin for the donations already, even before I started on the stream. But I'm going to say this. I am equally grateful for their donations, as I'm going to say equally, do not, and hopefully none of you are going to do this anyways, do not feel pressured to give donations even before the show starts, and of course during the show, just to move up the leaderboard for the community leaderboard, the top fans. Because remember, it's only for fun, and it's up to you. If you care about that kind of thing, then go ahead and donate and try and move yourself up that leaderboard. But if you don't care about that, or you just want to do it not the right way, there's no such thing as the right way, but if you want to do it without donations, that's fine as well. But be forewarned that donations do move you up that leaderboard. So thank you to Swervin Irvin. Thank you to the line change for getting the donation train out of the station, and to everyone else, it's up to you if you want to donate. But just be aware that I'm not gonna denote who donates or not. I'm just gonna read the community board, and you guys can figure out how everyone gets you to the top. By the way, hey Robbie, nice to see you. Swervin Irvin says if you're on a web browser, not the mobile app, a $2 donation gets 100 points, and a $5 donation gets you 200 points. So there we go. $2 gets you 100 points. $5 gets you 200 points. No, he's not giving away your secret. He's giving away his own secret. Awesome. And Carol comes in with a gifted membership. Let's give Carol some love in the chat. Carol donates a franchise membership, and it goes to Michael Yano. So Michael, welcome to franchise membership. And Carol, thank you very much for your generosity. So you guys are already being very generous off the bat. So I wanted to do a 10:30 show tonight because I wanted to give the show a full hour. And you guys know that I can't do that on Tuesday nights if I start at 11, because by 11:45 I need to be driving to my church for my 12 o'clock hour. By the way, I'm gonna do a poll later, not right now, but later, as to whether or not you guys like the 10:30 start on a Tuesday or keep it at 11. I'll explain a bit more about that when I get to my mid-show sponsor read. So let's go. Let's talk about today. Bottom line, the Canucks used their $7 million to sign Brock Boeser to an extension. And this is, so what happened yesterday, and I didn't do a show yesterday, but I talked, we had a great Canucks After Dark show, a huge Canucks After Dark show, where we talked about the extensions for for Conor Garland, for Thatcher Demko, and then these are all related though, and then to a lesser extent, the contracts for Sasson, Ratu, Baines, and Breezeball. So I won't really go over the AHL guys or Sasson, Baines, Ratu, and Breezeball, aside from the fact that they're all signed for at least 1 year. Some of those guys 2 years. Some of them are one-way contracts. Some of them are two-way contracts. But we can talk about it later in the summer. I think today I want to talk about Brock Boeser. I want to talk about Thatcher Demko, and I want to talk about Conor Garland. So before we talk about Brock Boeser, we should talk about Thatcher Demko and Conor Garland. And I'll try not to repeat myself too much from Canucks After Dark, especially for those of you that were there. Many of you were there. But I think it's important to set the stage because, to me, they're a big part of why Brock Boeser likely resigned. So let's do this. I'll talk about Demko and Garland. Then I'll talk about Boeser. I'll talk about the Canucks. And then we can talk about some other free agent signings and trades that happened today in the second half of the show. So the first half of the show will be mainly about these three guys and where I think it sets the team up. So yesterday we heard at the same time of extensions for both Conor Garland and Thatcher Demko. Neither of them were a big surprise to Canucks fans. the Conor Garland one was rumored for about a year, and for about a week, not a year. And the Thatcher Demko one was rumored for the last half of the week. So a week for Garland and then half a week for Demko. Make no mistake about it, you guys. The fact that they signed on the very first day that they're allowed to, July 1st of the year that their contract expires, that says something. That says that they wanted to be here. They want to be here. They want to succeed here. And that does not go unnoticed. Think of the opposite case, Brock Boeser, where they kept talking about it all year. They may have met a few times, negotiated a few times, but he did not get a contract extension. And then he was technically a UFA when we signed him, but I'll get to that in a second. So number one, I think it's important to note that Conor Garland and Thatcher Demko signed their extensions at the very opportunity that they could. What am I talking about? We didn't talk about Canucks After Dark because they only announced it today. I just had the biggest brain fart, you guys. I just had the biggest brain fart. Canucks After Dark, we talked about Evander Kane. We talked about the draft. We talked about all the RFA signings, and we talked about the potential of Garland and Boeser and Garland and Demko and maybe Boeser and Suter. But I just realized that those announcements, it's such a blur because today was such a long day. Those announcements were done this morning. So let's start again. This morning, we woke up before 9 a.m. In fact, I woke up at 8 a.m. to be ready for 9 a.m. And just before 8 a.m., the Canucks announced the multi-year extensions for Garland and Thatcher Demko. So Conor Garland, 6 years times $6 million. So $36 million. And this was rumored to be out there already, the 6 times 6. So that's, I think, what I was talking about. That's why it wasn't much of a surprise. But the fact that he still has one more year this year at 4.95, and then after this, he signed for 6 more years. So $6 million a year. Percentage of the cap, a cap that is rising, it's actually a smaller percentage than his 4.95 is this season. So if you look at it in relative terms, that is a really good deal. And then I put actually a pull up on my X and on my Canucks account, Canucks YouTube account, on my YouTube account, saying which of the 3 signings, I didn't put Evander Kane in there. I said, which of the 3 signings do you like the best? And most people were actually saying the Conor Garland one. I know right now maybe there's some recency bias, but Brock Boeser is leading this poll. But I will say on X, when I did the poll of the 3, it was Conor Garland's that was, no, I'm sorry, I have it wrong. It was Brock Boeser, 71%, and here it's 66%. So very, very similar. So Garland was in second and Demko was in third. My mistake. Making a lot of mistakes already. And I just turned off my monitor by accident too. What a disaster. Okay, I got to turn on my monitor once again so I can see what's happening. This is just a disaster tonight. Okay, recent PC. There we go. So Conor Garland gets 6 times 6, and he did a media availability with the Vancouver Canucks, and he was saying how much that he wants to be here, how much that he wants to, he loves the organization, he loves the city, and that he wants to be here, full time, which is good. And obviously he proves that by signing that 6-year extension. So once again, relative cap space, it's relative cap percentage. It's good. It's a good deal. He's making a smaller percentage as the cap goes up every single year. Now, it's weird, you guys. I'm flying blind. Like the monitor that I'm using just completely shut down on me. So I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with it right now. But I think it got disconnected from my Wi-Fi. So it's trying to figure out how to reconnect to everything. So we will see how this goes. I'm trying to find my my PC's not even showing up on my monitor. This is amazing, you guys. Give me 2 seconds and let me try and figure this out. HDMI 1 there. Okay, now I'm back live. All right, there we go. Is Conor Garland a first-line player? I doubt it. Is he a second-line player? Well, now he's getting paid to be it. And he's a third-line player? Yeah, at least a third-line player. And we've seen him have success with Dakota Joshua and Teddy Bluger and or Pia Suter over the past couple of years. But he's going to be paid $6 million, so he's going to need to play as a second-line player at least. Not the most prolific goal scorer. Doesn't drive play completely, but he's got a great motor, as we know. I've said before, sometimes he looks really busy, but doesn't always amount to a lot. But I think the Canucks love his work ethic. They love his leadership, and they love the fact, and they love the fact that he wants to be here, and he wants to be here. So that's Conor Garland, 6x6, and and that's that. I think that's a really good contract. I think that's going to age really well for the Vancouver Canucks. Actually, I'll highlight this now, and I'll get to Demko in a couple seconds. But thank you, Skytrain Elfrin. Elfrin says that the Demko extension surprised me, to be honest. Yeah, I'll definitely give you a chance to express why. But thank you, Skytrain Elfrin, for the donation. That is awesome. Let's give Skytrain Elfrin some love in the chat. So let's move on to Thatcher Demko now. Great timing. So Demko, we had heard over the past few days that was becoming close. And then there was Darren Dreger that said it's probably not going to be 4 or 5 years. I made a mistake. I thought it'd be 5 years to match Lankinen, but I guess that doesn't make any sense. You do want to stagger them. So they didn't go long with him, which I think is smart, just in case he has more injuries. So they went short. And by going short, they probably had to give Demko a bit more money, right? The shorter term contract you give, the more money, the longer you can spread it out. And I'll talk about that when it comes to Brock Boeser. So Thatcher Demko gets 3 years times $8.5 million. Again, kicks in next season. This season, he's still at $5 million. So this year, Demko at 5, Lankinen at 4.5. Good goaltending for $9.5 million. The 3 years after that, it'll be good goaltending for hopefully $13 million. Because it will be Demko's 8.5 plus Lankinen's 4.5. Still, as a percentage of cap, I think that's okay. And really, you want to be as solid in net as you can. So the thought is Thatcher Demko is healthy, and he's going to come into training camp healthier than he's ever been, or at least in the past few years. And I did in my vlog today, I talked about the fact that Demko, yes, he's been injury prone, but it's every second season. So 4 seasons ago, he played a lot of games. 3 seasons ago, didn't. 2 seasons ago, played a lot of games. Last season, didn't. So if it keeps on the rotating, the alternation, then this season he should play a lot of games. So what does it mean for Artur Silovs? Probably he's going to be on the move because you simply can't afford to lose him for nothing on waivers because he's not waiver exempt. But I guess that'll cross that bridge when they get to it. They'll probably, maybe it helps you get a 2C with some other assets. I don't know. You throw in a Joshua or Bluger, who are rumored to potentially be on their way out. But yeah, there's all summer to figure all that kind of stuff out. Here's the main thing. The main thing is Demko signs for only 3 years. The Canucks don't commit long term, but they have to probably bump his money up a little bit. So he makes a tiny bit more than Hellebuyck. He makes more than Swayman and Ottinger, who are all on longer term deals. So that's kind of the sacrifice you make. But I think of the 3, this is the one where people are saying, this one's a little bit iffy. But if he plays really well and he stays healthy and he gives us Vezina quality goaltending, then I don't think anyone's going to complain. And there we go. 66% of you saying they like the Boeser one, 22% saying you like the Garland one, and more people actually like the Kane acquisition than the Demko extension. So there is some fear here that A, he's injury prone, and B, he might, he's injury prone, and B, he might, even not play up to those standards. And that's a big contract. Okay. So there's that. Thatcher Demko. And then I think a lot of people were happy about that for sure. I know I am. Then the big one today. And Arnold James Moore says, with a healthy Demko and Lankinen, young D, and a Petey return, King Toughness, and a core guys who are bonded and friends, sprinkling some Abbey Canucks, I'm looking forward to next year. Yeah, this is basically what I was going to say. We're strong from the goaltenders out. Strong goaltenders. A D core that with the 2 Petterssons on D that joined mid-season, but that's a solid D core with Forbert as a number 7. So or Mancini as a number 7, whoever you want to put there, and then Willander maybe starting in Abbotsford. This is a strong team from the back end out. And if you are strong in net, and if you are strong on D, then you can concentrate on offense, meaning the forwards as long as they're responsible defensively, they don't have to stress so much about playing defense. They got to be responsible, of course. Then the defense led by Hughes and Hronik might actually help lead to offense as well. So I know there's a lot of consternation, especially the Canucks didn't get a 2C, what's going to happen with their offense. But I truly think that because their defense and goaltending is going to be so good, offense will be created naturally. And I had this thought. I'm not the only one who had this thought, but I was able to articulate it to people. And then I heard Patrick Allvin talking about the exact same thing. In fact, I didn't hear him say this. His press conference was after I was talking about this, but he said with a stronger D, that will be there from the very start of the year. And he name checked the two Petterssons as well. It's almost like me and Patrick Allvin are the same guy, same haircut and same glasses for sure. Then he was saying the same thing. So that's why I, like the honorable one, I'm quite optimistic as well. So finally, let's talk about the Brock Boeser extension. So here we are after the Kane trade. We were sitting here saying, okay, we have $7 million left. Is that a Conor Garland? Is that a combination of two like $3.5 million forwards? And even between Brock Boeser and Pius Suter, the thought was you could sign Suter for 4.5 to 5, and then you have a couple $1 million left over to make trades or whatever. Or, but the thought definitely, I know, finishing Canucks After Dark, Park and I were talking about, of those two guys, Boeser or Suter, that Suter was the guy more likely to return if one of them was going to return. Then, just before 9 a.m., I think the first one that said, Dan Murphy said, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's something like, when I say there's a chance, I'm not saying there's a big chance, but there's a chance that Brock Boeser or the Canucks circle back to Brock Boeser. And then right after that, Rick Dhaliwal tweeted, the Canucks are re-signing Brock Boeser. And then we hit the news that Brock Boeser gets signed for 7 years times 7.25. So $50.75 million. The concerns that we have about Brock are about the same. They're still the same. He's not going to get any faster. But that's really the only concern. He's good defensively. He's a great leader. He's loved by fans and his teammates. And he can score. He scores big goals. He scored 40 goals 2 seasons ago. He scored 25 last year. So we know what Brock can do as a player. So we don't have to talk about that. I'll talk about what the lineup looks like in a second. But I don't think we have to talk about what Brock can bring on the ice. We know that already. What the more interesting thing is, and this is what people have been talking about, everyone loves the Brock contract because 7.25, especially compared to some of the contracts that were handed out today, Christian Dvorak and others, this is a good contract. Speaking of percentage of cap, of the rising cap, this contract is going to age well, relatively well. Not to say anything about Brock's play or his speed, but the actual number is going to age very, very well. So a few important points. Brock Boeser probably left some money on the table. Oh, no, he left some AAV on the table, but he got his $50 million contract because the Canucks went for 7 years. And instead of 5 years times 8, which was reported in the midseason, it was 7 years now times 7.25. So it goes from 40 million to 50 million, but they add extra 2 years. So by giving Brock more term, Brock probably had to take less money per year. But I don't think Brock was interested in 5 years. He was interested in 7 or 8 years. He was interested in 50 million, not 40 million total money. That's fair. Another thought was, well, why didn't you get to this place earlier in the season? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but could you have done this contract earlier in the season? Maybe, or maybe the Canucks weren't willing to go to 6 or 7 years. That's my guess. Definitely not 8. Then you say, well, you had the opportunity to sign Brock for 8 years because he's your own UFA, but by waiting until today, then he could only sign a $7 million thing. So that's actually on Brock and Brock's agent. But I think there's no way that the Canucks were going to give him 8 years. We remember that during the trade deadline, Patrick Allvin said that the trade offers weren't good and I'd have to run out the door if I told you what they were. That's probably wasn't great for Brock's self-esteem. And then I said in my vlog today, it sounded like near the end of the season that Brock was on his way out, the way he looked and the way he was talking. So I think this was a surprise to almost everyone this morning. It was a great surprise because the majority of the fans love him. And they love this contract. And again, I think it's going to age very well. Now, in coming back to the Canucks, Thatcher Demko was very happy. He said, thank you, sweet baby Jesus, I think is what he said. Or thank you, baby Jesus. I think he said sweet baby Jesus, right? Let me look real quick. He said, yeah, thank you, sweet baby Jesus, thank you. To which I replied, I may have said a prayer of thanksgiving as well. So I don't know if Demko's a Christian, but it was pretty funny. And the Canucks, I think, even retweeted that, if I'm not mistaken. So there we go. I think all of this is intertwined. I think they all talk. In fact, Conor Garland was even admitted that he's been calling Brock Boeser and telling him to stay. I think the fact that Garland and Demko, if Boeser knew that Garland and Demko were coming back, whether he knew it was going to happen or he was told this morning, or his agent was told, or he saw the news, then I think that had a big thing to do with it. And I call July 1, it's not Canada Day, it's Canucks Extend Their American Players Day, because Conor Garland, American, gets extended. Thatcher Demko, American, gets extended. And Brock Boeser, American, gets a brand new contract as a UFA. And you know who else is American? Only the best defenseman, maybe the best player we've ever had in our franchise history. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the Canucks only did this, because that'd be naive to say. But if we're talking about keeping Quinn Hughes happy and maybe he's leaning towards staying, yeah, maybe one of those three guys, Garland, Demko, or Boeser, you might say, okay, I don't buy that. Two of the guys, maybe, but all three, and I know all the American guys on the team are quite close, especially these four, part of the core. I think this is great. I think this is great, and I think it's certainly not going to hurt the chances of Quinn Hughes staying. It can only help. So there are some things I want to share with all of you. Talking about over the cap, actually, I was just going to get to that, Tyler. What's interesting is on Puckpedia, which is what most people show, they show that we are actually under the cap. And I'll show you why. It depends really on which players you put into your calculation. But the Canucks are showing a roster of 23 players, 13 forwards, actually only 22 players because they don't have length. That's why. If you count Shilovs, then we're over the cap. What Shilovs is, yeah, 850. So you count Shilovs, we're over the cap by 300 grand. If you don't count Shilovs, we are under the cap by 556 grand. So that's the interesting part, because as you see here, there's 22 of 23 roster spots because they have 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies. That makes 22 players where you can have an active roster of 23. So that's the difference. If you count Shilovs, we're over by 300. If you don't count Shilovs, we're under by 550. So here is what we look like for next year. Pettersson 11.6, Boeser 7.25, right? His new contract. DeBrusk 5.5, Kane 1 year at 5.125, Conor Garland's last year at 4.95, Hito at 4.4, Joshua at 3.25, Höglander at 3, Sherwood at 1.5, and then it looks like I'm lagging a little bit, so hopefully we get through this. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. Oh no, I think it's better now. And then Lekkerimäki at 918, but who knows? That could be Sasson, that could be Ratu, that could be Baines. All those guys make 775, so you actually save 140 grand there. And then Niels Oman, who makes 825. So, Lekkerimäki and Oman, I think, are the question marks. If you bring in any of the 775 guys, you're actually going to save another 100 grand there somehow. On D, Hughes at 7.8, Hronek at 7.2, and then Marcus Pettersson at 5.5, Myers at 3, Forward at 2, Mancini at 8.70, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman at 8, Elias Pettersson at 8.38, and then our goaltenders, Demko 1 more year at 5, Lankin at 4.5. You add in, because they count against the cap, you add in Oliver Ekman-Larsson at 4.8, dead money, and then Ilya Mikheyev at 712 grand. So you add it all up, and we come in just short of the 95.5 limit. We are 556 grand short, but again, that's because we have 22 players listed. So even if you shave off Yeah, it's not. It's actually not worth trying to figure out how they're going to fix it because so many things can happen. You could actually not start with Lek Karamaki and Neil Zaman on this roster, and if you, for instance, if you have Sasson and Ratu, that is saving 140. Yeah, that's saving 200 grand right there. So then that gets you to sevens. Yeah, it's tight, but it is doable. And again, you just got to be cap compliant by the first night of the regular season. But that's kind of, I think the main thing is that we're basically at the cap right now. Remember, we were missing one player, but a lot of things can happen prior. And then finally, you're looking at our top 6. It will likely be some combination of those 6, the highest paid guys, right? It'll be some combination of PD, Boeser, DeBrusk, Kane, Garland, and Hedel. You could try, Pettersson with Boeser and Kane. You could try Pettersson with Boeser and DeBrusk. You could try Pettersson with DeBrusk and Kane. I think you start off PD, Brock, DeBrusk, and then Kane, Hedel, and Garland. But I wouldn't mind seeing what Kane can do. Maybe you swap Kane and DeBrusk, and you go Kane, Pettersson, Brock, and you go DeBrusk, Hedel, and Garland. But I really think that's the way you have to go going forward. All right. We got through a lot. It is exactly half an hour, so I'll do my mid-show sponsor read, and I'll leave some time for you. We can talk about any other free agent signings, trades that have gone on, the fact that Nick Ehlers and Pius Suter are among 2 guys that haven't gone to any team so far. Ex-Canucks, Kuzi goes to LA for 4.3. Noel Juleson goes to Philly. Phil DiGiuseppe goes to Winnipeg. And I can't remember if there are any other notable ones from last season where they are. So let's go. I will do my mid-show sponsor read, and then before I go to your questions, so hang on, don't type them in yet because I won't get to them unless I want to ask you one thing coming out of the mid-show sponsor read. So I want to start off by thanking my primary sponsor, and that's Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsors, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay. And thank you to my new secondary sponsor. I've elevated him to a secondary sponsor, Gassy Jack Art. Check him out at gassyjackart.com. And he still has his end of season sale going on. Buy 2, get 2. And thank you, Calvin and Adrian. I see that you both have contacted Jack to make arrangements after winning those giveaways. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Reminder how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe. You can like the video. You can leave a donation, gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Very important announcement. My shows this week, I've changed it. Originally, I said that I was going to go Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm changing it to Thursday because I remember that tomorrow I'm out at camp all day, and there's a chance that A, I might not get back by 11, or B, if I do, I'm going to be completely exhausted. So I'm going to move it to Thursday at 11 where I'll have a lighter day at work and I'll have more time and energy for the stream. However, if something crazy happens, if the Canucks break a huge trade tomorrow to get their second line center, although Patrick Alvin says, Adam Foote says he's fine with Hedel starting the season as the 2C. If something crazy happens, I'll jump on quickly for tomorrow night. But my plan, just from an energy and scheduling standpoint, is my next show will be on Thursday and not tomorrow. Finally, before I get to your questions and comments, I want to run something by you. As you know, Tuesday night, I have to be wrapped up at 11:45. What is your preference? So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to lay out 2 scenarios for a Tuesday night show once the season starts. Preference for Tuesday night. And I'm going to give you the reasoning for both. If I keep my 11 p.m. and if I keep my prayer hour, then I would, let me do this for 45 minutes. Sorry, guys. I just got to type this out so I can do it. Okay. So I have 3 options. If I keep my prayer hour at midnight and I have to end at 11:45, I can either do what I've been doing, usually on Tuesday nights, and go at 11 o'clock for 45 minutes. Or I could do 10:30 for 45 minutes. Sorry, I could do 10:30 for 60 minutes like I'm doing today. But I guess the bad thing about that is then it's a weird start time compared to the rest of the week. I could do 10:45 for 60 minutes, and that still gets me out by 11:45. I could keep my status quo of 11 p.m. for 45 minutes, or I could do 11 p.m. for 60 minutes. And then what that would mean would then I would move my prayer hour to 1 a.m. But that would mean, of course, the 1 a.m. person would be able to switch to midnight. So not impossible, but there would be some moving parts. So basically, I'm going to ask you, sorry, that was so painful. I'm going to ask you, what's your preference for Tuesday nights once the season starts? And I might test it out in the summer. Do I go 10:30 for an hour, but then that's kind of inconsistent with my 11 p.m. start time? Do I go 10:30 for 10:45 for an hour? Same reasoning. It's inconsistent with my 11 p.m. start time. Do I do 11 o'clock for 45 minutes, which is what I've been doing, but it's a shorter show? Or do I go 11 o'clock for 60 minutes? It means I changed my prayer hour, but it means it's consistent with all my other shows. So remember, Sunday, when I go 5 days a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday so far are at 11. And then Mondays is the late one, Canucks After Dark. Because of Canucks After Dark, I start at 11:15. So last thing I'll say, and then I'll get to your questions, is if I don't do 11 on the Tuesday, I do a 10:30 or 10:45, then technically we're getting 3 different start times, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I want you guys to think about that when you're voting too, because I could conceivably go Sunday at 11, Monday at 11:15, then Tuesday at 10:30 or 10:45. You guys tell me if that's too much, inconsistency, or you guys will know the schedule, you guys will follow my social, and you guys will just figure it out and make it work. Part of me says keep it 11, and then whether it's 45 minutes or an hour, just keep it 11, so then I can say basically my show's at 11 every night, and Canucks After Dark, I just start a little bit later. I hope that all makes sense to all of you. Okay, thanks everyone for letting me go through that. So Viper says he likes the consistency, so that's a good answer. And then Sammy Blais, that's right, Sammy Blais got signed to, where did he go to? Montreal. Yeah, I think quickly, LA got worse. I think Edmonton and Calgary really didn't do much. I think Anaheim got better. I think San Jose and Seattle didn't do much of note, and Vegas got better with Marner, of course. So I think Vancouver and Vegas and Anaheim got better. I think Edmonton, Calgary, Seattle are neutral. I think and San Jose, and I think LA got worse. Montreal, yeah, thank you. Jack Roslovic is actually let me back up here. Here we go. 45 minutes would be more efficient with less filler. Keeping these consistent and sweet since summertime would be a down season. Yeah, thank you, Raymond. Appreciate that input. Was actually talking about when the season starts. Yeah, and I'm confident as this channel grows that I have no problem. I don't want to say wasting time, but I have no problem filling the hour even when there's not non-game nights, because there's always something to talk about once the season is going. Whatever works well for you. Thank you, Gerald. I'm big on consistency. I don't want to confuse people, for sure. Rostovich is still a UFA. It's still a UFA. Do you overpay to get Josh Norris to get Quinn Hughes to say? I don't know. Are we okay with Josh Norris and his injury history? Montreal, yes. Irvin agrees with Gerald. Suggestion, I think having the schedule posted in the community tab will help people. Alfred, that's a great point. I do that sometimes, but I don't do it consistently. So maybe I will post to the community tab more often at the start of the week. Start of every week. Great point. Utah has improved their team a lot for sure. Rostovich might cost a little much at the moment. We'll have to see if he lasts a few days. Edmonton got Mangiapane today, which I like for them. Lindgren went to Seattle on a contract that I don't love. Yeah, I'm. Edmonton ran out of time and space to get like impact forwards. Mangiapane's okay. I thought he was going to be better than he is actually, but he's fine. Edmonton digressed a lot too by keeping Skinner and Pickard. Yeah, I forgot about that. If Bovenlander like Commander on 23-man roster, we are over the cap limit. Yes, we are, but we like I said, we can also move. We might not have this exact combination when the season starts. So they got a lot of time, Stephen, to figure that out for sure. The video that the Golden Knights put out, Marner's welcome, was loud. I feel bad for his infant son. I'm sure he'll be okay. Tyler likes the 1 hour stream at 10:30 start. Garland told a story about renting ice and texting NHL players to come skate with him when he was only 14. Keith Yandel was someone to respond. Oh, that's pretty cool. I never finished the interview, so I got to watch that. Thoughts on the Canucks losing Suter for nothing? Do you think we'll trade money in order to sign Suter? Alfred, my guess is they might kick the tires on Suter, but I think if we're to believe Alvin, Foot is fine with starting the season with Suter as with Hito as our 2C. And then you have some combination of Bluger, Ratu. I think Ratu will be our 3rd C, and then you got Bluger, Assassin as our 4th, especially if Bluger ends up getting traded. Brock is here. He says, I'm not effing leaving. Is that what he said? I didn't even know that's what he said. Welcome, Brock. I'm sure that's really you, too. Sounds like Bovenlander will start in Abbotsford. Yes, I saw that as well. He talked about Bovenlander and Soriminho starting in Abbotsford. Yeah, I have bowling on Tuesdays. That's another thing, but I would get back by 10:30 if that was indeed the case. But we're on the off season too. Connor said playing against bigger, faster players helped him improve. Nice. No, tonight, Tyler, I'm only going to 11:30. So I'm going for an hour, and then I'm not so rushed going to church tonight. LA now bound for a second place finish in the 26th Stanley Cup. Second place finish. What are you saying? Like second from the bottom? Maybe experiment during the summer and then have the poll again. Oh, that's a good point, Derek. I could try different times. Josh Norris is more reliable than Hedel. That's fair. Anthony Mantha. Yeah, how much will he want? I don't even know what his cap hit is. Personal loser in free agency today was Boston. The acquisition of Arvidsson only makes sense if the plan was to trade him at next year's trade deadline. And then Jeannot. Yes. I don't think Boston did well today either. Do you think it's a good trade idea to trade Kane and a pick for 2C? Man, that would look pretty bad, right? Considering everything that they've said about that they wanted Kane and Kane wants to be here. Does that get it done though? That where you have to attach something else for someone to take Kane's $5 million though? That's what I'm worried about. I'd be open to it. I don't know if it gets it done though. Josh Norris' shoulder gets hurt more often than Hedo's head gets targeted. I don't like either of those. I don't even view Seattle and San Jose as real teams. Those teams should be focused on rebuilding and grabbing draft picks. Anaheim situation is a little different. So yeah, worth mentioning. Yeah, I agree. I think Anaheim is going to get pretty good pretty fast. Jeannot contract is silly. 4 players jump ship from Edmonton. I think they don't. I think they've reached. They might feel that they've reached their peak. I don't know. They jumped ship like they left, or they got traded, or not signed. But I hear what you're saying. They're all the same, I guess. I prefer the 10:45 start for an hour, but I think it's better for your channel to go viewership. You're considered. Yeah, that's true, Michael. There is something to be saying. To say that I'm on at 11, whether that's a 45-minute show over an hour. I guess it's not the end of the world if I only go 45 minutes. Boston pulled a Vancouver today by giving a pick for cap dump for the opposition. Boeser deal is good, but a little too expensive. Tyler, love you, brother. Not sure what time you showed up today. I've already talked about the Boeser deal for about 10 minutes. Most improved team in the Pacific. Go. I do like what Anaheim did overall. I'm just looking at Anaheim. So Anaheim's free agents, they got Granlund. Oh, actually, they only got Granlund and Husso. But then the trades that Anaheim did, they got rid of Gibson for picks. They got rid of Zegras, but they got Paling. Yeah, what am I talking about? What do I think that Anaheim, maybe I had it reversed. Maybe I don't think Anaheim improved a lot. Only because they got Mikhail Granlund, and they got a ton of draft picks though. So, but they got a young team. Yeah, so scratch that. I'm putting Anaheim in the middle group with Vancouver, with Edmonton. So who did improve? Would you say Vancouver improved the most? Let me look at this. So from a trade tracker, who were the big trades that affected Pacific teams? San Jose got that goalie who I can't say, Nedeljkovic. What else? The Oilers traded away Arvidsson. Oh, Vegas got Marner. So maybe I have to go Vegas. And then but they lose Pietrangelo. Who else? They also got Lazan and Sissons. Yeah, so they got Lazan, Sissons, and Marner. Maybe I go Vegas was the most improved. Then I go Vancouver. I like what they did as second. LA at the bottom and everyone else in the middle. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. By the way, my count says 400 people, which is very grateful. 91 on YouTube and another 330 on X. Thank you, everyone. If you had to trade away one of Joshua Hoaglander or Connor, who would you choose? Joshua, actually. I feel bad saying this, given everything he's gone through. But when you think of money and style of play and effectiveness, I pick Joshua from those three. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Viper. I still think they got better. Yeah, a lot of teams are like this, though. Swerve and Irvin, the margins are so thin, for sure. Doesn't seem like Suter wants to come back, just based on the conversation between the two sides and the Canucks waiting on an offer from Suter. Yeah, and also, Tyler, great point. Even in the year-end media availability, I made a point saying that Suter looked like he was talking as if he was gone already. We can't blame him. No, I did not watch Garland's Sportsnet interview. Thoughts on Ehlers? Reports saying his agent is talking with Carolina. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard he doesn't want to play in Canada. It's fine. He's earned the right to take as long as he wants. As you always run the risk, though, of not getting a chair at the dance. No, I think I combined two metaphors. Not getting a chair in the game of musical chairs, or not getting a partner at the dance, but there's still a lot of money, a lot of cap space available. Which UFA signing so far? Cody Ceci to the Kings. That is a dud. I think that's an overpay. Makes the Marcus Pettersson contract look so good. San Jose got better, and I made some interesting moves. Vegas gained about 35 to 400 points in production. 35 to 40 or 35 to 400? Corey Perry curse. Corey Perry goes to LA. That's true. That's true. LA. Oh, I see what you're saying. I was a little slow. So because Perry went to LA, now we can expect LA to get to the Stanley Cup final, but to lose. I get it now. Sorry, I was a little slow. Jets might circle back on Ehlers. That's fair. Losing the cup with Perry. Thank you. Yes, it was very slow. Thank you, everyone. By PDG, indeed. If EP40 puts up 90 and Hito stays healthy, we can finish third, perhaps. Yeah, I think LA is going to drop a lot. If King gets moved, it'll be after January. Are there other teams way over the cap? I don't know for sure, Sensei. I have to look it up. Yeah, DG Seppi's gone to Winnipeg. Oilers got CC back? No, he's LA, right? He's LA. Playing for another contract. I don't think he'll mess around too much. Sounds like the locker room is in good shape, according to Myers. We're talking about Kane? Yeah. I don't see Edmonton going to the finals. Me neither. Florida's front. Yeah, they're 10 core guys signed through 2030. Amazing. Amazing. Good for Glenn Gullison. I remember him when he was here. I think that's a good hire and very happy for him. Sure. I can't sleep because I'm scared the Canucks will trade their 2026 first rounder unprojected just to get a 2C. Yeah, I heard that debate on 650. That was funny. It's going to be Vegas, Dallas versus Florida Rangers in the conference finals. Think Rangers are that good already? Or they still don't have a starting goalie? Yeah, not CC. 1045. Didn't know you're streaming earlier. No problem, Tyler. Management is trying to repair the thought that Vancouver isn't a destination. So to extend Garland and Demko and finally getting Boeser back hopefully changes the view. Great point. Which team will be the dark horse, you mean? Maybe Philly. I kind of like what Philly's done. And not just because Rick Tocchet went there, but let's look. Philly signed... Okay, maybe not. They signed Dvorak. I don't know what I was thinking. And then they made a couple trades though, right? But I do think Philly will be a bit better. They got Rick Tocchet. They signed Christian Dvorak. Oh, and they got Zegras. Yeah, I'll go Philly. I'll go Philly. Need to save money to buy out Paulo Accolini. Anaheim overpaid for Granlund. Is it really an improvement if you're bringing back the same roster minus Suter? I think so, Rain. I definitely think so, because we're going to have a defense that is going to be intact from day one, not mid-season acquisitions of Marcus Pettersson and DPD. I think so. Vancouver equals gained Kane losing Suter. Yeah, you're right. You can't count JT Miller anymore because he was gone by January. Suter is the best option. Best option to win is with this group because none of the cup contenders can afford him or need him. Jason Lim, great point. Nice to see you. Yes, Calvin, I mentioned that you and Adrian, I think, have done that already, which is great. There are still no teams good enough to compete with Florida. Sad but true. Tales of Symphonia. I'm not sure you can count Vancouver improving. That's fair. I think they've improved. I really do. Yeah, they also gained Scissors and Lazon, though, right? Through trade, not through free agency. Well, another mention of the Corey Perry curse. Hope the Canucks can make a wild card. Pacific is top heavy. Yeah, I think LA is going to fall out, though. Miller signed a trade, was very sly from the Rangers. Rangers won that trade. Yeah, and then and that's the Condre Miller, right? Over to Carolina. Demko deal surprised me. He's 1 year left. And he's still very injury prone. Yeah, that's why they only gave him 3, but they had to pay for that. The only way the Canucks improve is the graduating kids help. Mancini, DPD, Ratu, Sassenlek, right? That's fair. Why are we voting this again? Are you asking me why are we doing it again? Or are you asking me why are we doing this? Trying to get your input for Tuesday nights, because that's, I think, something I need to figure out for next season. 51% of you saying 10:30 for 60 minutes. So half of you are saying you want the full hour and you want it earlier. My guess is you guys want earlier all the time. Like 10:30 is probably better for you, but I don't know. It's kind of like the 11 o'clock spot, especially for getting back from things like bowling or church or work or especially Canucks games. What do I think is going to happen with the remaining free agents? They're all going to get signed. I just don't know where, Simon. Either is doing his due diligence, which is what all players should do. Yeah, the Boston bad. Boeser signing long-term. Garland signed long-term. Vancouver should be talking extension with Sherwood. What happens with Leckie? Do they now use a trade bait? No, I think he could still, you can start him as a third-line center, and a third-line winger and move him up, Rain eventually. I agree with Tyler. You imagine a competitor like Demko to bet on himself and figure out the signings by next offseason, but they say he's 100% healthy. Yeah, they do say he's 100% healthy. Which free agent signing surprised you the most? Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, the Boeser one surprised me. And I think Marchand back to Florida surprised me too. Although that wasn't a UFA signing, right? That was an extension before. Yeah. Trent Frederick deal was the worst. Who would you have picked to make Vancouver's 15th overall pick? Honestly, Fangirl, I don't know enough. I know there's a lot of talk about this Eklund kid, gritty Swedish player with skill, but I was fine with who they picked. But admittedly, I didn't do a lot of research into it, to be honest with you. Okay, I got to skip you guys to catch up because I got 5 minutes left. So sorry if I'm skipping your comments. But I'm going to go to questions now. You think Garland, Demko, Boeser, Allstinger will make Quinn want to extend? I mentioned that earlier in the stream. I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts for sure. Do I think Ratu makes the team next season? Yes. I think the third line center spot is being groomed for him. I think he does make the team. Sleeper team is Utah. I like that. You think they make any more moves before the start of next season? Not major ones, Phoenix. I think they may try and still find some more depth at center and use Bluger, although he's the center, or Joshua as maybe trade bait. Looking at today's deals, I think Quinn might extend for 3 to 4 years. I like that. Is Vegas contention window closing? I wouldn't say so. They always find a way to make it work. Is this professional bowler Mitch Hoope? If it is, it must be like with all respect to Mitch, I don't think anyone will pretend that they're Mitch Hoope. So I just want to give Mitch a shout out. So Mitch Hoope is on the PBA, the Professional Bowlers Association Tour. He's a long-standing Team Canada member. He is one of the guys that Jacob, my son, really looks up to, and idolize is too strong of a word, but definitely looks up to, learns from. Mitch makes visits to Vancouver every 2 or 3 years. And he does some great work with the guys at the Pro Shop in making videos. So check out JR Pro Shop video and look up Mitch's name. He's done some trick shots with Sean and Jake. He's done some instructional videos. I've only got to meet Mitch a couple times, but we get along just fine. And I know he's from Winnipeg and a big Jets fan. So if this is Mitch Hoope, which I'm sure it is, hey Mitch, nice to see you. We are glad that Boeser's not going to the Jets. You guys can circle back on Nick Ehlers, and we can figure everything out from there. But you did get an ex-Canuck. You got Phil DiGiuseppe. That is awesome, Mitch. If this is, I'll stop saying if this is you. I'm just going to assume it's you. Thanks for being here, and really appreciate you stopping by the show. Next time Mitch is here, I'm going to just bring him on, and we're just going to talk. Can Kane be more toxic than JT Melodrama? Nope. Maybe they'll chant his name this year. The market is bipolar. If he helps us win and lay some hits, the fan base will accept him. I agree with that. 10:30. No, usually I'm home by 10 or 10:15, Gerald. It's not the best, but I could make it work. Just seeing what else I'm looking for. Bowling doesn't start until September. Take care, Bela. Nice to see you. Enjoy your summer. Talking extensions with Sherwood. I like that. Ehlers going to Carolina. Yeah. Besides Joshua, who do you think will be part of the salary jump in a trade? Our friend Thomas Trans keeps talking about Joshua and Bluger. Who would you have picked to announce? Oh, I'm sorry. Who would I pick to announce? Yeah, if they're going celebrities, Buble seems connected. I think I would have done a good job too. Do you think She Loves and a player can land a 2C? Yeah, not a good one. And of course, it depends on the player. After today, what is your trust level management? Honestly, Irvin, it's always been not 10, but it's always been 7 or 8. I do trust this management. I really, really do. Ratu might be like Kessler. Do 10:30 on Tuesday and 11 on the other times. That's fair. Hoop, there it is. Or Hoope, there it is. No, he's not a potential. I think it's more we potentially have a professional bowler in the chat. Not we have a potential professional bowler. Yes, Mitch is a pro through and through. I'm not sure if he's still watching though, or if he just kind of dropped that comment and then left. Regardless, I am glad that he was here. That was pretty cool. I usually do a 24-hour stream every 2 years, William. So this would be the off year. All right, friends. By the time I wrap up, new lotto line 649D1. Carol Smart says, hit the like and subscribe so Clay can get a bigger audience. Thank you. Sharks have Bailey, Canucks have Chelsea Green. That is true as well. I should buy Paulo Acalini shares of the team. Yeah, I'm only like 500 million away because it's 500 million. All right, friends. You guys are awesome. I'm awesome. We are all awesome. Now I'm going to get Jake to text Mitch Hoope to thank him for popping in on the stream. I wish I got to his comment a little bit earlier, but I was running a bit behind because we have 467 people here, which is pretty cool. Not that it's about the numbers, but hey, I still like to see that big number on my screen. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, legendary Andrew Chang, and Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thanks for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe. You can leave a late donation. Thanks to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Gassy Jack Art, Coach Patrick Lee, Weight Loss Coach, and Vessi. And thanks to everyone who went above and beyond today. Remember, the Line Change, Tyler and Irvin with a bunch of donations prior to my stream starting, and then Carol who gifts a membership, and then Skytrain Alfred for gifting for the donation as well. Thanks for the reminder. The top fans today as we wind up. Swervin Irvin, back number 1, 1,300 points. Tyler with 1,175. Alfred with 400, Joe with 375, Fangirl with 375. That is your top 5 today. Thanks. And remember, I don't expect you guys to leave donations just to move up that leaderboard, but I'm still grateful nonetheless. Nice to see you, Sarah. You're quiet today. That's fine. Really appreciate everyone being here. And don't forget, my next show is Thursday night. Thursday night at 11 p.m. Would be happy to see all of you there. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Very simple one today. Why was the broom late to class? Yes, why was the broom late to class? It overswept. It overswept. God bless, and go Canucks go. Broom ya.